Welcome to this peek at the future for the 27th of March 2015. Today we're going to have a look at the updated Koltyr Warpgate. Koltyr, not Koltyr. And also we'll be looking at the new Cosmetic max weapon changes. A lot of those models have been changed. Some cool stuff actually. Also, as there's so many max model changes, I'm going to do a link to every single one of the weapons in the description below, so if you want to hop to a particular weapon, feel free to do so. So the Koltyr Warpgate changes are still rolling out, and it is Koltyr, by the way. It's not Koltyr, as I've been saying. You can see some small changes here and there that just make the place feel a little bit more polished, such as these lights on the floor. I don't know if I'm still 100% sold on the whole kind of aesthetic of it, but I think functionally it's sort of a bit more interesting. There's now a guardrail along the top, so that where the vehicles spawn, there's a ammo pad for aircraft as well. So from the actual spawn room, you can run along that little gangway to the aircraft pads. So if you wanted to name those pads, 1 through 4, you could easily have troops run and get ready at those particular pads. I would still like to see some sort of roof cover. I mean, I know it's not that important, but I'd still like to see some roof cover for the Warpgate as well. You can see that we now downstairs have a functional firing range as well. You can also see that VS have gone far too far this time with this invincible soldier. We always knew VS was overpowered, but now we have actual proof. Out in the biolab, we've gained the small jump pad to get up onto the landing pad. And that teleporter that was in the landing pad last time actually takes you into the spawn room. So let's look at some of the max weapon changes. Now these are all cosmetic, bear in mind. So here we are for TR. Mutilator's changed. As you can see, quite a lot of difference there. The Pounder, that has not changed. The Onslaught, that has changed too. Got these big barrels on the side. Fracture, that has not changed. But Mercy, that has changed. And Bursters, they've not changed either. But you can see on that TR Max, that's quite a visual difference we've got there. I think for other factions looking to identify what maxes are carrying, I think that's going to be quite a bit easier now with these max model changes. You'll see on the other factions as well that the visual difference is really quite improved now. In many ways it's what it should have been right from the word go. So there we are, first person with the Mutilators. You can see there's quite some visual difference there. Also, some of the weapon sounds didn't seem to be working properly, so keep that in mind. Nothing much going on with the reload animation there that you can see in first person. So now swapping these for the Onslaught. I think the TR and NC weapons weren't taking the camo as you might expect. It's like the transparency was too low. It didn't look quite in line with the rest of the actual body, but the VS stuff, that was working as expected. Now moving to the Mercies, these are significantly longer than I think we've seen any max weapons before. I would imagine that there's no difference in collision model, although I stand to be corrected on that. So I don't think you're going to get any extra reach on melee attacks, as far as I know anyway. So onto the big thumping fist of the NC. Scatter cannons and Falcons have not changed. but grinders, mattocks and hacksaws have changed. You can see on some of the NC models there, they actually got the designation. So for grinder, that's AF23, actually on the side of the weapon model, which is kind of cute actually. Also, there's some animation going on actually in the weapon model as well. Like I said before, some of the weapon sounds aren't working currently. Just gives you a feeling of what it'll be like to use. So onto the mattocks. That designation on the side is actually back to front on these mattocks. And again, their camo's not quite as you would imagine. Quite like that barrel movement under fire for these mattocks. Just adding a bit more visual detail and a bit more visual polish to the weapons that wasn't there previously. So, hacksaws. The bane of everyone's life in biolabs. NC and TR not really got any exciting reload animations or anything. You've seen a second when we go over to the VS max weapons. That extra organic flourish that VS can get is really used to the maximum. So here we are with the VS. Again, 3 weapons have been changed. That is the Blue Shift, the Cosmos and the Nebula. Quite a lot of visual change here for VS. And if I'm honest, I wasn't quite sure initially, but after playing with them, yeah, I think they look kind of cool actually. I'd say they're also the ones to benefit most from visual touches. Things like animation, reload stuff. Okay, so let's look at the Cosmos first of all. You can see on the actual max model, they look like 2 angry piranhas. And as you can see for VS, the actual opacity or transparency of the camo appears to sit a bit better. And here we have first person. And you can see those animation touches there. That cylinder on the inside rotating and going in, and that cylinder on the outside as well. So I think as you fire, that cylinder appears to decrease in height, and then when you reload, it pops back out again. Quite a neat little touch that. So onto the blue shifts. Now these are quite a bit bigger than the Cosmos. And you can see just in first person view, that really makes a huge difference. And perhaps these weapons benefit from that animation touch the most. On the back of them, the rear of the weapon, you can actually see there's like a turbine turning. And then when they're reloaded, there's many details such as that fin on the top moves. And then there's a sort of extending, almost armor plated feel just on the top prong of the weapon. Quite a lot of visual detail going on. I think personally they look great. If anything, I'd like to see a bit more of that detail come over to TR and NC. I'm sure there's going to be some people who say that that's blocking too much of the screen. I have a bit of sympathy with that viewpoint. But when running, they drop down, it's a bit easier to see. But no doubt they are really large weapons. So finally onto the Nebula. This has got a bit more of the look of the Cosmos, but a bit kind of sturdier. Also, you'll notice that the cylinders on the side are permanently animating on the Nebula, so they're constantly turning around. And again, it's got that bit more detail to it. Those cylinders on the side turning, and then when you reload, that main, I won't say barrel area, but obviously not really a barrel, that kind of compresses and these cylinders recharge as well. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Which, as a TR player, is quite annoying. So, thank you very much for watching this peek at the future. If you enjoyed it, why not hit that subscribe button? It helps me out a lot. I have some more videos coming up, looking at doing another Thinking Medic as well. And also probably some more videos for Dirty Bomb as well. Their beta is now running all the time, and hopefully I'm going to get some beta keys to give out to you guys as well, which would be good. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at LCTRGames, and I'll see you next time. Take care.